You don't notice the sniper on the hill until the bullet lands. That's the Sigma. Everyone's watching the loud ones, the flashy ones, the ones who claim power through volume. But the one you never expected? That's the one rewriting the rules while the rest of the room plays pretend. The Sigma male doesn't arrive. He appears. He doesn't declare his presence. He makes it undeniable through action, through timing, through total control of himself. He doesn't walk in to impress you. He walks in already knowing who you are, what you're about, and whether you even matter to his mission. While others chase recognition, the Sigma makes impact, quietly, precisely, relentlessly. You don't feel him coming, but you feel him when he leaves. You feel it in the silence, in the void, in the realization that something solid, something rare, just exited your orbit. By the time you realize he was different, he's already 3 moves ahead, disappearing into the night like a ghost with unfinished business elsewhere. And you're stuck replaying what you missed while trying to fill a space you didn't appreciate until it went cold. So now let's break down the 10 reasons why Sigma males are the last ones you see coming and the first ones you miss. 1. They don't compete for attention. They own the atmosphere. Real power doesn't seek attention. It shifts the energy. Sigma males don't step into a room looking to win over crowds. They don't perform, posture, or project. But their very presence makes people uncomfortable and intrigued. Their silence feels like pressure. Their stillness demands interpretation. People sense there's more to him than what's being shown. By the time the group figures out who he is, he's already taken mental inventory of who matters, who fakes, and who's disposable. He doesn't compete. He observes, and that's more threatening than any loud entrance. 2. They blend in by choice until they decide not to. Camouflage isn't hiding, it's hunting. You don't notice the Sigma at first because he wants it that way. He blends into the background, not because he's weak, but because he's gathering intelligence. Most people rush to make impressions. The Sigma waits. He listens. He watches. And when the time comes to act, whether in conversation, confrontation, or decision-making, he strikes with precision. That moment when he reveals what he really knows or what he's truly capable of, that's when people realize they underestimated the wrong man. 3. They don't overshare, they let you fill in the blanks. Wrong. Silence lets others write your story and then surprises them with the truth. People mistake the Sigma's quiet for disinterest or social awkwardness. They assume his lack of sharing is weakness or mystery. But it's a strategy. The Sigma knows that in a world addicted to oversharing, silence becomes powerful. People project onto him. They guess. They assume. And that assumption creates illusion. When the truth finally reveals itself, his competence, intelligence, insight, it dismantles their entire narrative. And it's unforgettable. 4. They build deep, not wide. It's better to have impact with one soul than be remembered by none. While others chase hundreds of followers, fans, and surface-level admiration, the Sigma builds 1 or 2 deep soul-level connections. He isn't interested in being the most popular guy in the room, he's interested in being real with the few who can handle it. The Sigma isn't interested in people who are addicted to approval or emotional transactions. He invests in the rare ones, those with substance, depth, and clarity. And when he connects, it's intense. It's not a handshake, it's a psychological alignment. He knows the power of silence in a conversation, the value of being present without performance, and the gravity of loyalty that doesn't need to be advertised. When he's gone, there are no crowds crying for his return. Just a few people sitting in silence, wondering how someone who never tried to own the room ended up owning a space in their soul. That kind of loss doesn't fade. It echoes. It shapes how they see every person who comes after. Because once you've experienced something authentic, everything fake stings a little more. And the Sigma, he's already disappeared, without a sound, but not without a mark. 5. They leave without closure, because they were never performing. You don't need closure from someone who was never playing a role. When the Sigma leaves, there's no drama, no final word, no explanation, and that's what makes his exit unforgettable. People want closure. They want emotional payoff. But the Sigma doesn't owe it. He showed up real, and when the environment turns fake, he walks away. That silence becomes a mirror. You start questioning everything you said, everything you didn't, and most of all, you question how you let him slip through your fingers. 6. They trigger reflection, not reaction. He didn't break you. He made you realize what broke you. Sigma males don't leave chaos in their wake. They don't explode into arguments, burn bridges with fireworks, or air out grievances for attention. Instead, they leave behind something more unsettling: clarity, and that clarity isn't always comforting. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't validate your emotions in the moment. It creeps in slowly, like a whisper that becomes impossible to ignore. After they're gone, you begin to reflect on how calm they stayed when you tried to provoke them, on how your manipulation didn't land, on how your craving for control collapsed in the face of indifference. You remember the unbothered silence, the refusal to engage in emotional theatrics, and how your attempts to provoke were met with nothing but an unreadable gaze. And suddenly you realize, it wasn't him that needed to change. It was you, your tactics, your expectations, your need to control the narrative. The Sigma doesn't have to say a word to shake your foundation. He simply steps back and lets you collapse under your own weight. And when you finally face yourself in the aftermath, you understand the power of a man who didn't fight to change you, but forced you to confront why you ever needed to. 7. They don't need to be remembered, which is why they are. He didn't brand himself into your life, but his absence carved the space. Sigma males don't self-promote. They don't demand to be remembered, but people do, not because of loud gestures, but because of the emotional blueprint they leave behind. The memory of someone who didn't need you but still chose to share time, thoughts, silence. That kind of presence leaves a deeper imprint than words ever could. 8. They don't create dependence. They reveal it. He didn't ghost you. He exited the performance. Most social connections are built on need, drama, entertainment, approval. The Sigma enters without needing anything from you. And when he leaves, you realize how much you leaned on his calm, his perspective, his detachment. You realize how chaotic things feel now, how loud the room got. It wasn't dependence he created, it was a mirror he held up. And now that he's gone, you see what's missing. 9. They don't ask for trust, they test for it. The Sigma gives you a rope. What you do with it is your test. He never begged you to believe in him, never asked you to stay. He gave space, freedom, autonomy, and then he stood back not out of detachment, but out of intention. The Sigma male doesn't hand out trust like candy. He observes, not through control, but through the absence of it. He wants to see who you are when no one's watching, when you think you're not being judged, because that's when the truth bleeds through. He doesn't micromanage relationships. He doesn't chase loyalty. He simply extends opportunity, then watches what you do with it. Do you honor it? Abuse it? Ignore it? Every move you make tells him more than your words ever could. That's the beauty of how he tests. It's subtle, quiet, invisible, but it's real, and it's final. When you fail the test, there's no confrontation, no dramatic exit, just distance. Cold, clean, irreversible distance. No second chances, no justifications, no explanations. Because the Sigma doesn't need you to prove your worth twice. If you mishandle what he gives once, he already knows what he needed to know. And the scariest part? You won't even realize the test was happening until you're sitting in the aftermath of his silence, wondering why you were dismissed so easily. That's the edge of a man who never wanted to control you, only to see the real you, unfiltered, unprompted, unprotected. 10. They disappear without echo, but you keep hearing the silence. It wasn't noise you missed, it was the quiet you once took for granted. When he's gone, it's not his words that echo. It's his calm, his restraint, his grounded presence. The world goes back to spinning fast, loud voices, shallow talk. But somewhere in the noise, you'll crave that rare silence. You won't know how to explain it, only that something real is missing. That's the Sigma's impact. On a final note, some people scream to be noticed, others whisper and stay unforgettable. The Sigma male never asked to be remembered. He simply existed authentically, quietly, powerfully. And while others fade the moment they leave the room, the Sigma's absence lingers. It becomes a quiet presence, a void of clarity, a reminder of what once was strong, still, and real. You didn't see him coming, but you'll never forget that he was here.